Let's go ahead and hit record. Great. All right. And Terry, if you could, if whomever is sharing the slides, we can just get that going. But I wanted to start really by welcoming everybody to this meeting, this Board of Governors orientation. My name is Lori DeArmond, and I am the president of the University of Maryland Alumni Association Board of Governors. I'd like to kick things off by thanking you all for your commitment of your time to your alma mater and to your engagement with the Alumni Association. Little bit about myself. I am a 94 graduate of the Smith School of Business with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. Like many of you, I've been involved with the University of Maryland in various different ways since I was a student here. Obviously, my day-to-day profession, I have been involved with recruiting students to the university from the University of Maryland. I am the very proud parent of a current University of Maryland student since my son is a sophomore, and of course as a volunteer in various different capacities. My journey on the board began as a member of the Finance Committee in 2018 in an ex officio capacity. After that year, I was asked to join as an at-large member and chair the Finance Committee. And then I've spent the last 2 years as president-elect and chair of the Governance Committee. And my term as president began July 1st. That term will run through June of 2025. And I've really enjoyed getting a different view of the university through the lens of the Alumni Association and the workings of the university and the commitment that the university has to our alum. My day-to-day job is as the market managing partner of BDO. We are a international professional services firm, and I oversee the Maryland, DC, and Northern Virginia market. I'm also the executive director of BDO's Institute for Nonprofit Excellence, having spent nearly 30 years now specializing with working with tax-exempt organizations. I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and getting to know you all better. So I wanted to kick off the meeting by having everybody introduce themselves so we can all begin that getting to know each other a little bit better. I'd like to ask you to please tell us your name, your class, and the school or college that you graduated from and where you work. And so that we can keep things orderly, I'm going to go in order and call out your name. And so I first want to start with the at-large members. And Amy, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Amy is an at-large member on the Board of Governors, and we'll move on then to the next on the list, Alethea Nanku. I don't see.
Were you referring to Amy Yip? Because I know there's another Amy on the call.
No, Alethea. I think okay. I don't know that Alethea is Alethea.
I don't think Alethea's on, but let's have Amy go ahead and introduce herself. I know she's just on her phone because she had to take her child to the doctor. Amy, okay. Are you able to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Amy Yip, class of 2004. I graduated from CMPS, so computer science, and also from the communication school, and I am currently self-employed.
Great. Welcome, Amy. Alethea is not on, so we'll go to Laura Crandon.
Good afternoon, Laura Crandon, 1991. Wow, that's a long time ago. Also CMPS, computer science, although I can barely work a remote control these days. And I'm a former health plan executive And I volunteer 100% with the nonprofit that I founded.
Great. Welcome, Laura. Let's see. Next, Maria Ball.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maria Ball, class of 2012. I live in Southern California and I work, or I was, when I graduated, I was BSOS, government and politics, and I live in Southern California and I work at Salesforce.
Thank you, Maria. Peter Polo.
Hi, my name is Peter Polo. I graduated 1995 from the Smith School. I got a degree in marketing. I live in Livingston, New Jersey, and I own a small real estate development company in New York City.
Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
Rocky Lopes.
Hi, let me first ask, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm at the Phoenix airport on my way home. Rocky Lopes, I graduated in 1980 with 2 degrees in microbiology and elementary education. I served 2 careers as Director of Preparedness at the American Red Cross National Headquarters. Following that 20 years, I served as Emergency Management Advisor to the Director of the National Weather Service and the Tsunami Program Deputy for another 20 years. I retired at the end of 2019, and I'm enjoying retirement and also serving our alma mater in various ways. It's great to be with you.
Thank you, Rocky. So now we're going to move on to the school college representatives. So
Alicia's here.
I
oh,
just
Alicia
joined. I'm
joined.
sorry.
Oh,
I was
great.
finishing up on another call, so my apologies for my tardiness. I think I know what I'm supposed to say based on my esteemed cohort here. My name is Alicia Nanku. I graduated from the university in 1990 with a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology. And then I stayed on campus until 92 and graduated with an MED from the School of Education. My emphasis was in college student personnel. And I have been involved with the university in various ways through the Black Alumni Association as well as PanHel. And I truly am looking forward to this new venture in working alongside the university.
Thank you, Alicia, and welcome.
Thank you.
So now we will go to the school college representatives. And please just make sure you mention which college, your school or college you're representing. So Bishop Saki?
Yeah, no problem. It's pronounced Sechi, so
Sachi. Okay,
yes.
Well, welcome. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no problem, no problem. Yes, first name Bishop, last name Sechi. Graduated in 2011 with criminology major from the School of BSOS, and currently I am working in the Prince George's County Office of Law there, and I am doing workers' compensation law there right now.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Veda Johnson.
Hello, it's Vita.
Vita,
hi.
okay.
Yeah, no worries. Hi, my name is Vita Johnson. I graduated 2011 from the College of Arts and Humanities, and I'm at the U.S. Department of Commerce.
Okay, great. Denise Sugru.
Hi, Denise Shagru. So, and I'm representing the Smith School. I graduated from the Smith School in '94 with an MBA. And I am a former consulting executive, now self-employed, still doing some part-time consulting work and some executive coaching on the side. Thank you.
Great. Let's see. Jonathan Garcia.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Garcia. I'm a Class of 2020 graduate. I graduated with dual degrees in public policy and communication, minor in law and society, so RHU, and public policy. I'm the representative for the School of Public Policy, and I currently work as a senior research associate at the National Academy of Public Administration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Kate Fesh.
That was close. Fetch.
Oh, okay.
And trying to make Fetch happen. All good, Lori. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Fetch. I graduated from the Philip Merrill College of Journalism at UMCP in 2005. Currently work down the street at Marriott International as the head of their content studio, but live up in NYC. So I heard someone else on the phone who's in New York. So hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Great. Let's see, Linda Pipelo.
That's right. Hi, Lori. Pipelow's correct. Hi, Linda Pipelo.
Yay, I got one right.
Got it. That's pretty good. I'm impressed. I am a 1972 grad from undergrad and 1977 master's degree, both from the College of Education. And as my day job as of June this past year is retired. I just finished teaching 30 years in the Howard County Public Schools.
Wonderful.
And I'm representing the College of Education.
Great. Thank you. Liz O'Keefe Markham.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liz O'Keefe Markham, graduated from the College of AG&R with an environmental science and technology degree and a minor in GIS in 2017. I currently work as a GIS analyst and environmental planner at Strawn Environmental, and I'm also the current president of the AG&R Alumni Board. Nice to meet you all.
Nice meeting you as well. All right, so now we have our ex officio members. Alex DeBus.
Hi, everyone. Very nice to meet you. My name is Alex DeBus. I have not graduated. I'm a current senior here at the University of Maryland in the College of CMNS. I'm studying biochemistry, and I'm the student body president, so I'm here representing the undergraduate population here.
All right, Autumn Perky.
Hi all, I'm Autumn Perky. I did actually get my MA from College Park in 2022. I'm on my way to my PhD in 2025, hopefully, knock on wood. I'm in BSOS and government and politics, where I work. I'm representing graduate student government as the president. I've worked at RAND, I've worked at ARLIS. I'm kind of just here.
Well, welcome. Stephanie Chang.
Hi all, my name is Stephanie, she or hers pronouns. I currently serve as the Assistant Vice President for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And I did graduate from the University of Maryland in 2018 with my PhD from the College of Education.
Great, welcome Stephanie. All right, now we are going to move on to some of our very important staff members at the Alumni Association, who you are all going to get to know much better over your term. We'll start with Jeff Williams.
Hi, everyone. Jeff Williams, Managing Director and Chief Outreach Officer. Look forward to working with all of you. And thanks for joining us here. I'm actually not a graduate of Maryland, but I am coming up on next year will be my 10-year anniversary. So hopefully more time than most students spend on campus. But I'm an adopted Terp, and great to be with all you today.
Thank you, Jeff. Peter Canine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Canine. I am not a Terp. My wife is. I want to say she was an 86 grad. She's old. And I'm the CFO of the Alumni Association. And looking around here, I think it looks like there's about 4 of you who I will be working with, since I'm the staff liaison for the Finance Committee. So welcome to everyone.
Thanks, Peter. And Peter is also the one that recruited me for that first ex officio role that I held on the Finance Committee when I started in 2018. So
see, I hang my head on that all the time.
Jessica Roberts.
Thank you, Lori. I'm Jessica Roberts, everyone. I've met a lot of you already, and those that I haven't, I'm really excited to work with you. I graduated from Maryland in 2002 from Arts and Humanities. I have been with the Alumni Association in a staff capacity for the past 15 years, and I serve as Chief of Staff and Managing Director of Board Operations. So I sit on Executive Council, and then I sit on a lot of the different committees. And Lori, I wanted to let you know, we actually have 3 of our advisory members here that I had not gotten a chance to invite, but they were all so studious, and I think they've all made it here. Well, yes, I think they all 3 made it here today. So after we introduce Amy, perhaps we could move to them, and I can leave that if you'd like me to.
All right, great. So next, let's Terry Welton. Terry's on the line. I know she's here. She
is speaking, but I don't hear anything, Terry. Your sound isn't working.
How about I fill in the blanks for Terry? So Terry is Amy's executive assistant. Terry and I work really closely together on the Board of Governors, and in your welcome materials, you probably saw you'll get a lot of emails from me, but you'll also get a lot from Terry. She does a lot of our scheduling, runs all of our calendars, and she's our administrator for Board Effect too. So she'll manages registration for our board meetings and everything. So you'll get to know Terry very well.
So Jessica and Terry really keep us running like a well-oiled machine. So you will get to know them very well, as you will Peter and Jeff. And we can't move off of our staff without also letting Amy Eichhorst introduce herself. So Amy, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone, and I'll make some remarks a little bit later, but for now, I'm Amy Eichhorst. I'm Executive Director of the Alumni Association and an Associate Vice President here in University Relations. I've been here about 9 years, and I'm just really grateful for such a great turnout today, especially, but also thank you so much for your service on the board. And I'll hand it back to you, Lori.
All right. So those advisory members that have joined us, which thank you very much for joining, Mark Rabinowitz.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Mark Rabinowitz, class of 2005, graduated from the Smith Business School, and I'm an audit partner at Ernst & Young. And so looking forward to working with you all, and I'm on the finance committee as well.
Welcome. We always need those people with the financial background on Peter's finance committee. So welcome. Juan Sempertighi.
Great. Thank you so much, Lori, and appreciate you pronouncing my last name correctly. That's an unusual for first time. Right. Indeed, and apologies. I'm not on camera. I'm having a little bit internet issues, so appreciate your patience. Juan Sempertighi. I graduated from the Smith School back in 1998. Currently work as a Deputy General Counsel at the U.S. Small Business Administration, and I will also be serving on the Finance Committee. Glad to be here and look forward to working with all of you.
Great. Welcome. And Sylvie Song.
Hi, you all. I am Sylvie Song. I graduated from BSauce in 2006. I currently work for the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology. It's a very long name, FASB for short. It's a biomedical scientific research and advocacy nonprofit. And I'm also currently involved with the Alumni Association as the founder and current president of the Asian Pacific American Alumni Network. Thanks.
That's great. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone, for agreeing to serve on the board. So before we get into the agenda for the day, I just wanted to sort of share a little bit about my vision for the next 2 years of my presidency. As I mentioned in my welcome, you know, I've been involved with the university in various different ways since I graduated. One of those experiences was in speaking at the Smith School at various club events and in some of the accounting classes to students. And I really appreciated that opportunity to give back to the Smith School and connect with students in a meaningful way. And our alumni have so much to give to the university and the students that attend. And even now, when, I had that opportunity because of my involvement with my firm recruiting at the Smith School. And that's how I initially made that connection. And then, of course, I knew Peter through serving on another board of an organization that he was working for at the time. And so that's how I got my connection to this board. But one of the things that I am always asked when people learn of my involvement with the Alumni Association is, how can they get involved? It's the number one question that I get asked by people who really have an interest in being involved with the university. And so my focus over the next 2 years is volunteerism and helping make those connections to alumni who want to give their time to the university in a meaningful way. And it's, it turns out that, as you'll see in a few slides, it very nicely aligns with the strategic priorities of the Alumni Association. And so that is where I'm going to sort of focus my attention over the my 2-year term. On this slide here, you'll see what we're going to cover throughout the conversation. I'm not going to go through bullet point by bullet point here, but we really want to give you a high level overview of the mission, the vision, and the operations of the Board of Governors, so that you have a baseline to really build your involvement on in the committees that you have been assigned to. So now I am going to turn it over to Amy Eichhorst to review the background of the association.
Thank you, Lori. And, on the topic of volunteerism, I love that Lori really wants to focus on that, so that, volunteer leadership and also doing good in your community or wherever you are, it really is all about our volunteers. It is all about you. We could not do this without those of you on the call here in the colleges and those serving on the board in an at-large capacity, our executive leadership, our advisory members. So thank you for what you do, because it really is all about volunteerism. We really see all of you as an extension of us, as part of our strategic team, as part of our ambassador. So I love Lori's theme, and stay tuned, because I got a briefing today on some really exciting things we're doing already, even 3 months into our new strategic plan, with like volunteer matching and understanding what's happening around campus with volunteerism. So I will stop there and get back on script. So the vision and mission, actually, we're on page 3 of the handbook, and hopefully all of you have this handbook in front of you, and to please refer to as you go through your term here with us. So, but looking at our vision and mission, clearly our vision, we inspire lifelong connections with a global network of Maryland alums. And our mission is to connect, cultivate, and channel the power of alumni. And really, our mission is to give back to alumni as individuals and to give back to this university. It really is a true dual mission. As I remind people every now and then, we all only exist at the Alumni Association because there is a university here that we're serving. So at the core, we serve the university, but we also really serve our alumni, and want to advance their lives and enrich their lives in some way. So really, if we ask you for one thing, it's really to remember what that mission and vision is of the organization, if asked. As far as our strategic plan, this was something that came from our volunteers. Our president, Jeff Rivest, really wanted to launch a new strategic plan. We used a consulting firm. We had a board committee that engaged a lot of people. We had our staff, and we really contacted many people around campus to create the strategic plan. These are our 4 priority areas. I'm not going to read them all, but please take a quick look. In each of these areas, we actually have aligned our budget. We aligned our staff, even in the last few months, we really took a hard look at what everyone was actually doing, realigned our staff so that we could make sure to meet these priorities. But now the fun part is saying, what does that actually mean to give TERPs a life of meaning and impact, and to educate and activate? We look at an event like last night where we had General Clapper, and he was talking, and we were learning from him. We had a packed ballroom of a few hundred people. Alumni want to learn, and they want to learn through us. So anyway, the fun part now with Jeff Williams and his team and I is, what does it actually mean to meet these priorities? We will continue to share that with you as board members and report back on our progress in the strategic plan at every one of our board meetings. Next, and actually, if you want to see the whole plan, I hope you take a look at that online. Next, page 4 to 5 is an overview of who serves on the Board of Governors. So we're going to start with the role. So I'm the staff person, I'm the executive director. You have the leadership team here, and Jeff, Jessica, and Peter. The 4 of us, we're the staff. We're on the ground. We're doing the day-to-day operations of the board of the Alumni Association. But the role of the board is to do things like the strategic plan. What is our mission? What is our strategic direction? Where should we be headed? Secondly, we really count on you to be our trustees of this Alumni Association, our advocates, our stewards, going out and talking to other people, sharing our messages, sharing why we're here, sharing how alumni can get involved. We also, very importantly, and Peter mentioned, and this is Lori's background, is providing input on the budget, and what does our budget look like? What does our audit look like? Are we running this operation? It is a 501c3. I think you all know that, but I just reiterate that it's a really interesting structure. We are a 501c3 organization embedded within a university. We are all university employees. There are no employees of the nonprofit except for some contractors that we hire. So it's a little bit of an interesting, some of you might have been on boards where you have sole responsibility over the finances and the staffing. Here it's a little bit, and you'll kind of tend to see, you'll see how we operate, but definitely looking at our budget is key. Looking at our operations, which is, we have a huge, Riggs conference center downstairs, with $1.2 million revenue source last year for us. So a lot of different operations that are nuanced, especially for those of you in the colleges. You'll see that we operate a little bit differently through the nonprofit. And then obviously, monitoring and evaluating our leadership, services, membership, and finance. And we'll talk a little bit about both of those areas a little bit later in the presentation. So the Executive Council, Lori leads the Executive Council. It includes 2 past presidents and the incoming president, Bert Williams. And I'm actually a member of the Executive Council as well, and I am a voting member. So if you see me taking motions and voting, I'm not, violating. That is our policy. The 2 people that aren't on here are actually President Pines. He is also a member of the Executive Council, a voting member. And so is the Vice President of University Relations, who is Jim Harris. In practice, they are not really running the day-to-day of the Alumni Association along with the Executive Council. But just so you know, if you ever see or hear them talk about it, they are actually voting members of the council. We do a lot of detailed work, and then we bring a lot of that work and report back at the 3 board meetings a year. But just know that your Executive Council is meeting at least once a month, and actually solving a lot of problems over the years, and creating a lot of change and good things. So the next is the types of board members. Next slide. We have at-large, and we have 15. And so our at-large members, if you're an at-large member, you committed, thank you, to serve 1 2-year term. And then if you are interested, and if you're in good standing, attending board meetings, attending committee meetings, and you also have an interest in re-upping, you are eligible to serve a consecutive 2-year term. And after that, you do need to rotate off the board, much to the dismay of some people who love it. That is how it works. We can always get you back on another time. And also, the at-large members do have voting rights and need to serve on at least 1 committee. Our academic representatives, I like to call these are our college alumni boards. And I don't know if everyone always thinks about this way, but every college alumni board, every one of our official alumni networks
those organizations were chartered from the Alumni Association. So chartered from the 501c3. And there's a lot in the book about what that means and some of our, director insurance and whatnot that covers that. But just know that you're an official legal link to us at the Alumni Association. You have voting rights and the same expectations and responsibilities of at-large members. And we're really excited about the link with the with the college alumni boards, because it really allows for that information flow back and forth. And there, Jessica did also talk about our ex officio officers who are also members of the executive council and have voting rights. I haven't seen a president vote in the 9 years I've been here, but maybe the day will come soon where they might. We also have 3 advisory positions. This was created about 5 or 6 years ago so that we could bring some more voices onto the board. It's a small board, and we wanted to have the opportunity for people that bring a unique value to the Alumni Association. So thank you for the 3 of you that are here with us today and offer to serve. This is a 1-year term, renewable for 1 additional term. And these board members are appointed by the president. So Lori Dearman made those appointments. We also have 6 ex officio members that represent campus. We actually have changed these a little bit over the years because some of the student organizations went away. And we did 1 new person, and I'm so thankful for this, is we did a DEI. We had an ad hoc committee last year that made several recommendations, and one of them was that we would have the Office of Diversity and Inclusion represented, which we do now. So we're really excited about that, Stephanie, to get to work with you more and hear from your office, as you really get to work with us, to hear any thoughts and advice that you have. Those are the types of board members. And I think at this point, I am turning it back to Lori DeArmond. And I'll highlight for Lori pages 8 to 10 if you're following along in your book. And I'll turn it back to you, Lori.
All right, great. Thank you, Amy. So please note, if you are following along in your book, there is one noticeable absence from the book, and that is the governance committee. Extremely important committee, just was inadvertently left out of the book. So I just wanted to mention that, but that is still a very important and very active committee. You will see on your slides here the assignment, the red, each of your names will be assigned to at least 1 committee. And so just, as we're going through, just jot down your committee. Next steps on committees will be that the actual business of the committees will be getting started over the next couple of months. Some may be in advance of the, I know governance has already met, or at least agreed on the committee assignments already. Some of them might not meet until after the October board meeting. So that'll be next. The next thing you hear after this will be on, the committee trying to get dates set for committee meetings. So the first committee is Finance Committee. Wilson Wong is the chair of that committee. The purpose of this committee is to review the financial performance, investment policies, revenue projections, and progress towards fundraising and the association's goals. Obviously approve the budget, audit reports, and financial plans, and also to monitor regulations and policy changes that would impact the Alumni Association. As Amy mentioned, it's a standalone 501c3 organization. So they review the Form 990, which is the tax filing, tax return that's due annually, and just make sure that we're doing everything in accordance with our nonprofit status. The governance committee chair is Bert Williams. And the purpose of the governance committee is to determine the membership and recruit for the board of governors. measure the quality and performance of the board and its committees and task forces and individual board members, and to review the bylaws and governing documents and policies and procedures each year to make sure that we are operating in accordance with those governing documents. If any recommendations are made for changes to those governing documents, then the governance committee would review those changes and approve those changes and recommend them up to first the executive committee and then to the board for a full vote of any changes in those governing documents. But okay, next page. We have the Awards and Recognition Committee. Cheyenne Zadeh is the chair of that committee, and the main responsibilities there are to include the selection of recipients for several Maryland awards that are listed on the screen. And the committee is also responsible for nominating potential honorees for the presidential award winner and Hall of Fame honoree. The scholarship committee is chaired by Marina Cooper. This committee is to provide strategic guidance to the Alumni Association on its scholarship program, which is a very important program. We give somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000 a year in scholarships out. So it's really important to us to provide that money to students. And one of the primary roles of the scholarship committee members are to identify recipients of for the scholarships by reviewing the submitted applications. Moving on to the next page. So the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is chaired by Kate Luzio. This is our newest committee, and it came about as the result of the previous president, Jeff Rivas, had stood up an ad hoc committee to investigate DEI and come up with recommendations on how the Alumni Association could incorporate goals and objectives into our programming for the Alumni Association, with the objective of ensuring that we are inclusive of everyone from all backgrounds. And so this committee serve as leaders regarding the association's DEI goals and objectives, which were developed by the ad hoc committee and voted on by the Board of Governors last year. The members of the committee will be embedded in select standing committees of the board to ensure that those DEI priorities are infused into the work that gets done in those committees. So the reason for this was that, you know, we didn't feel that it was enough to have a standing DEI committee. We felt that the goals and objectives need to be kept front and center in the work that gets done in the various different committees of the board. So in this way, by embedding members of the DEI committee into the other standing committees of the board, we can ensure that we are being inclusive in both the way that we operate those committees, so that all voices are heard, but also in the way that we make decisions on those committees. And then that committee is also tasked with meeting to evaluate where we are against the goals and objectives that were established by the DEI committee last year. So that is it as far as the standing committees, and I will turn it over now to Jeff Williams to talk about alumni outreach and engagement.
Thank you, Lori. Hi, everyone. Again, I forgot to mention, by the way, I'm the staff liaison for the governance committee and the DEI committee. So those of you on those committees, I look forward to working with you. But getting back, if you are following along in your book, I believe that these are pages 12 through 15. Whoa, there we go. Okay. Thank you. So just talking a little bit about my team, we are, I'd say, pretty well staffed. When I started, so I've been on campus for coming up on 10 years, but in my role, it's been coming up on, I guess, about 6 or a little more. And we were a team of 8, and including my role. Now we are a team of 16, including myself. So we have doubled in size. And that growth really is thanks to outstanding leadership of Amy and negotiating new positions with the university. But also, I think there's a real value in the work that we do in engagement outreach and how that relates to the mission, not only of the Alumni Association, but for the broader university, and what we can do when it comes to the reputation of the university, advancing us to help attract better and more students, to connect with employers, and to help hire TERPs for internship and job opportunities, and of course our partnerships with colleagues in development and fundraising to turn passion into investment in the university. So we've grown a lot. This is our current team. There's really 4 main units. On the left, you can see my colleague Angela Demopoulos leads our volunteer managers team. So if you work if you've had previous experience with any of our regional, affinity, or even academic networks, you probably know Angela, Erica, and Steve. They are working with our 250 or 300 or so volunteers across the country to help plan events and programs for alumni in the regions and by their affinity groups. We also do quite a bit of work with activating alumni for community service here and across the country, led by Angela and her team. Natalie Ross is our Senior Director of Special Events. And if you've been to any of our big signature events, Natalie and her team make the magic happen. They really do just absolutely outstanding work. And a lot of our WOW events are led by Natalie and her team. Ellie Garrity is our Director of Alumni Career Development. And this is a growing area for us. We did not have this team. This was this did not exist when we first started, but through alumni surveys and feedback from alumni, we know that we say the number 1, number 2, and number 3 thing alumni want from us is all related to career and professional development and networking. So this is a new team for us that we've established in the last, I'd say, probably 3 or 4 years. We've grown to now a team of soon to be 3. We have a vacancy that we are currently in hiring process for, but this is really meaningful work, and we are excited about the growth. I'll be talking more about the programs in just a moment. And then finally, Chrissy Lynn Diller. Chrissy Lynn is leading, I guess, kind of our operations team, but this is like the Swiss Army knife of the Alumni Association. Chrissy Lynn and her team handle so much on behalf of the association, whether that's our student outreach and engagement, our alumni marketing, reception at the Riggs Alumni Center, customer service, data, and as well as our annual giving fundraising efforts with Giving Day and Giving Tuesday. So Chrissy Lynn is outstanding. She works with our scholarship committee. For those of you who will be involved, she's actually the primary contact with that. So if I could get the next slide. Talk a little bit more about our alumni, because we are here to serve alumni. We have 414,000 alumni living worldwide, around 23,000 members, which I know Jess will talk about more. I believe that is a high watermark for our organization. We're spread throughout the world. However, a majority of our alumni, more than 50%, do live in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region. So Amy and I and others have really done a lot of work to really expand our outreach right in our backyard and doing more programming than ever in Baltimore, Howard, Northern Virginia, Montgomery County, et cetera. So, but we also have a really strong regional program with large pockets of alumni in California, Florida, and the New York City metro region. This year, I'm excited because we are having a kind of I don't want to say a first trip, but first in a long time trip to Texas, where we'll be bringing President Pines to do some work to engage our Texas Terps, which is a growing group for us as well. Next slide. So by the numbers, what does that look like for our engagement? We have 16 full-time staff, but also this is just at the central level. We have an additional 12 or really more staff doing alumni relations that are based out of schools and colleges. So any of our academic representatives, I'm sure you work primarily with somebody based in the school or college. And, you know, at the Alumni Association, we try to work with all of our colleagues and provide leadership for the campus with alumni relations and some of our big strategies. And we have very close relationships with these academic alumni relations professionals. We call it the CARP group. I mentioned that we have our over 300 volunteer leaders separated into 48 different networks across the country. Last year, we engaged over 67,000 alumni, and you can see that nice trend line that we like to talk about, where we've just had a real exponential growth since we first began tracking back in FY16. That 67,000 is alumni engaged through events, volunteerism, and digital engagement. On top of that, though, we've engaged almost 300,000 alumni through our website, social media, and email marketing. So I'll talk a little bit more about what that constitutes, but total engagement, total impressions were over 340,000. So we have a really broad reach. And I know athletics describes themselves as the front porch, but I think we're like the front stoop of the university, alumni coming back and engaging with us at large. So next slide, please. And I think just click next one more time. Great. And you can just kind of flip through here, Jess. So these are the different types of volunteer networks. All of these networks are subsidiary organizations of the Alumni Association, like what Amy mentioned. These networks exist to support the Alumni Association and to support the university. So all of these networks are covered under our insurance and our other policies. They run marketing and registration through the Alumni Association and our platforms. We really consider them an extension of our staff. So these are really important groups for us. And we look to provide these leaders with the tools that they need to engage TERP alumni through events and programs like happy hours, game watches, networking events, and so on. So you can see the difference between a regional network and a community really is kind of semantics with regards to if they're a board, a full board, or just kind of a one-off leader. But we have those across the country, as you can see in the map. So next slide. Oh, there we go. One more. So student engagement outreach, sorry, our like graphics here with the animation is throwing us off here. Yeah, Jess, if you just want to roll through. So student engagement, students are alumni of tomorrow. So we've invested a lot of resources into our student engagement outreach. Our signature program is a Student Alumni Leadership Council. This is an award-winning program. We have won numerous industry awards for this program because of its outstanding efforts to engage students through history and traditions of the university and to connect students with alumni. It's a really, yes, I see. And Rocky was the founding member of SALC when he was a student. And we were really proud to have, through a few different iterations, to have continued SALC through this day. SALC, in addition to putting events and programs for students and alumni, they also oversee the M book. So I don't know, I can't really see hands, but I don't know if anybody remembers the M book. It was like the guide of student conduct for several decades on campus. It went away, I'd say, in like the 90s or maybe early 2000s. And we relaunched the M book with a kind of fun twist where it's focused on history, traditions, and pride for the University of Maryland. And every incoming student will get a copy of the M book, which includes the UMD bucket list. And it's something like 18 or 20 items that we challenge every student to do while they are a Terp on campus, which includes things like, I shouldn't say swimming, but taking a dip in the McKeldin Fountain, going to the First Look Fair, going to an event at the Riggs Alumni Center, some of these types of things that are real hallmark experiences for students. And if you complete your MBook bucket list items, you get a special pin similar to the one I have, and something that you can wear at graduation. So students are really getting into it. It's about the 4th or 5th year. The MBook actually recently won Grand Gold in our industry case awards competition. So we're really proud of that publication. Terp families is another important group for us. We know that we want to engage Terps who have children and hope that their children fall in love with Maryland, and it's the next generation of Terps. So this is an area where we do a lot. You can see their family weekend, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. We have a large presence, and also working with admissions. So we have alumni that will go across the country to college fairs to recruit students on behalf of the university. We also engage alumni in outreach to admitted students to encourage them to accept Maryland and enroll. And, of course, targeting the best and brightest of our admitted class and make sure that Maryland is, they've been offered admission and that they come to Maryland. So these are really meaningful programs on behalf of the university. And then finally, our scholarship program. So the scholarship program, we give out around, I believe it's 70,000. Jess, if you can just click next. 70,000 annually in student scholarships. And that's done through the scholarship committee, where we select based off of leadership qualities and engagement with the university. So we're really proud of that, helping students with their expenses to attend college. Next slide, please. And Jess, if you can just click next twice, there we go. So alumni advocacy, this is an area that is small but important for us. We have 2 main events where we activate alumni to advocate on behalf of the university and our priorities, one in Annapolis and one on Capitol Hill. And in Annapolis, every January, we are hosting an event in collaboration with the Office of Government Relations and the Office of the President, where we invite elected officials to join us and talk about the great things Maryland are doing. Also, Terps who are in legislative positions and other agencies in Annapolis. Similar thing with Terps in Annapolis. You can see we have we always invite our elected Terp officials, and typically we get a great turnout. Those are both really great events, and I really encourage you to attend one or both of those in the future, because they are very meaningful events for us as an organization. Next slide, please. And if you just want to click 4 times. So special events, this is led again by Natalie Ross, and this is kind of where the magic happens. As I say, these are our big splashy events that hopefully you've already attended some of these. These are mass engagement events, typically large scale, often in partnership with schools, colleges, units, the development team, admissions teams, athletics, and so on. These include our 50th reunion, the Golden Terps. You can see the bottom left picture there, a really feel-good event for alumni celebrating their 50th anniversary. We also have awards and recognition, which coming up this November is our Celebration of Terps annual awards event. And that is a real treat, and I hope all of you can attend that as well. But these are certainly the tent poles to our strategy. They're certainly our biggest expense, but this is really where you can feel Terp pride in person, get the Terp tingles all over again. So I can't encourage you enough to hope you can join us for as many of these as possible. Next slide, please. And there we go. So student alumni mentoring, I talked about students before, kind of how we're engaging with students, but we do a lot of work to connect students and alumni together through these mentoring programs. Terrapins Connect, it's our online community. If you don't have a profile yet, I encourage you to check it out. Students and alumni can connect with one another. Alumni can connect with other alumni to help with job support, just networking in general. And then intern for a day. If you were in a position to host an intern for a day, please do. This is a great collaboration we have with the Career Center. And we last year hosted, I think it was over 400 different students were hosted through this program. So we're really excited about this. And this is a great way for alumni to give back to current students. Next slide, please. So lifelong learning, one more click there. Thank you. This is a growth area for us because, you know, just because you leave campus doesn't mean your learning has ended. And we want to support alumni in their lifelong pursuit of education and knowledge. So we are uniquely positioned to do that by connecting alumni with faculty. So a few of the areas we do that is our Maryland Masterclass series, where we host alumni who are very notable experts. You can see on the top right there, and also the bottom left, some of our alumni that are sharing their wisdom and their expertise with alumni. And these are great events that we had one last night with James Clapper as well, and a real growth area for us in the future. Additionally, faculty series, we are looking to get more of our alumni in to be able to get back in the classroom, but this time without homework. So that should make it fun. And you'll see a lot more of these in the future. And finally, our book club. This was something I brought over. I was previously on campus at the Clark School of Engineering and then the business school as well. This is something I brought over with me from my previous positions. But this past year, we had exponential growth. Over 1,500 alumni participated in our summer reading challenge. So alumni, we feature alumni authors. I know actually Amy is doing a talk with us, Amy Yip, with her new book. We like to feature alumni authors and other programming to connect TERP readers with each other. So next slide, please. And it looks like 5 clicks here, Jess. So career programs, I mentioned, are a real growth area for us. You can see we have real everything from programming for job seekers, people who are looking to land a new job, people who just want to network with people in their industry, maybe change careers or pivot. So we try to offer something for everyone, no matter what stage you are in your career. I will mention Career Week specifically because that's one of our single largest initiatives at the Alumni Association. And I do want to thank all of our academic representatives because I believe last year we had all 12 schools and colleges participate in Career Week. And we hope to do that again in the next year. It's every January, where the entire campus comes together to support alumni and students in their career pursuits. So that's one of our signature programs. Last year was the first time we did it all in person. This was launched during COVID, and we've slowly moved to in person. And I am sure the best is still yet to come for that as we continue our momentum. One last thing, corporate and industry programs is another growth area for us. We recently realigned some staff to focus on this area where we're targeting our top employers as well as top potential employers. So companies like Northrop Grumman, Fannie Mae, Marriott, Google, Amazon, Lockheed Martin, just to name a few, where we are looking to develop relationships with these alumni at these companies to develop networks and stronger relationships for recruiting as well. So this is an area where I'm sure you'll hear quite a bit more from us about this strategy. Next slide, please. Our entrepreneur network is something near and dear to my heart because this was a special project of mine at one time, and I've since passed it off, but I do love this program. And you know, Maryland is consistently rated in the top 10 schools for entrepreneurship programs, as well as in the top 10 schools based off of alumni who are able to secure fundraising for their ventures and their startups. So we have a really, really strong network, a strong ecosystem of entrepreneurs, and the Alumni Association is kind of at the center of that through our programs, including our TERP business directory, where we feature alumni-owned businesses. And I encourage you to check that out. And if you have a need to hire somebody, whether that's a lawyer, an accountant, a landscaper, or perhaps a yoga instructor or a bakery, anything in between, we have something for you. There is a TERP for that. And really encourage you to go on and check out that business directory and consider hiring a TERP for your next project. So next slide, I think, is my last one here, or no, second to last, but I do want to touch on our marketing. We have 4 main social media channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. By far, Facebook and LinkedIn are our 2 best platforms. We have a lot of emphasis there. I hope you will connect with us if you haven't already. Our Shell newsletter is our kind of signature newsletter that goes out once a month. It's the first Wednesday every month. And that is hopefully something you're already receiving, and where we feature all of our different news and events to the entire campus community. We also do segmented newsletters for regional and affinity groups, as well career tips, which is a newer newsletter that's exclusive really about our industry and corporate and career programming. And then finally, our alumni blog and news. It's on our website. Recommend that you check it out because we've got a lot of great profiles of your fellow TERPs, alumni, students, talking about what they're doing and the impact they're making in the world. And again, it's a great way to really feel really proud of your alma mater and the TERP community, because there's a lot of great stories on there to share with your network or to just enjoy. So the next slide, I had a lot. So I wanted to boil it down. What are the top 3 things that we would like you to do? And number 1, invite your friends to attend one of our events. This is one of the best ways that you can help to support the work of our engagement outreach team. When you come to the holiday party or the homecoming game watch, try and get your network to join you. We are always trying to expand our outreach, expand our number of alumni attending. So invite your friends to join you at one of our events. The next thing would be to join Terrapins Connect and to help network with students. And if you are in a position to do so, host an intern for a day, or otherwise just provide your wisdom and expertise via Terrapins Connect to students who are looking for advice. And then finally, follow us on social media and share content to your networks. So we make it as easy as possible. All you have to do is just click share to my network. We have a lot of great content out there, and we just want to get more eyeballs on it so that everybody, all in the TERP community and beyond, the general public, can see how great of a university we are. We just had new rankings that came out. We jumped 9 spots in the overall ranking. It's the first time the University of Maryland is in the top 50 national universities in the U.S. News and World Report. We're number 46. I just posted on my LinkedIn. Feel free to share it. It's all over social media elsewhere. Feel free to share it somewhere else. But that's the kind of stuff that is an easy way for you to help amplify our content and get the word out so that people feel the power of the TERP network. So that's it for me. Next slide. These are just some of our pictures, great fun events. I hope to see you there. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Roberts.
Thank you, Jeff. That was great. Everyone, Jeff's presentation, it really is what he's able to capture there. That's our mission. That's our vision. That is where the bulk of our work is. And so, I really hope you do have a chance to take advantage of some of the programs and working in some of those programs with other alumni and with our students. So I have another part to my portfolio that I did not mention. It's not reflected in my title, but I oversee our membership and our business development at a strategic level. I used to serve as the director of membership and business development prior to this position. So I'm going to take a little bit of time just to walk you through our unit and what we do in membership and our different revenue sources. On this org chart, I'm going to draw your attention to the right-hand side. That is our small but mighty team. So I have 2 directors. Jim Paris oversees all of our alumni sponsorship and business development. And Jim is a TERP as well. And he reports into me and handles all of that. And then we have Taylor Jimison is our director of membership. And she has 2 colleagues, Megan Sykes and Sean Kavanaugh, that support our membership program. We have 23,000 members, and just, you know, those 3 people working on it. And with the help of university marketing and communications, we're really able to do a lot and have really been able to grow our program. So the first thing I want to tell you about membership, if you're ever out there talking to a TERP and you ask if they're a member and they say, I'm not sure, or I don't know, they're not. I mean, you know if you're a member because you pay dues. It is a dues-based membership. All of you know that. I know most of you are life members. But just a couple of highlights: that it is a tax-deductible contribution. The dues contribute to our organization's funding and help support the pipeline for university advancement. We have lots of great perks in our membership program. We're actually launching a new benefit company that we're working with, kind of like if you're part of AAA or AARP, any of those types of associations that might have some kind of discount platform attached to it. We also offer our board members a promo discount that you can use to encourage others to become a member of the Alumni Association. And so they would get the $650 life rate for a single member and a $700 joint rate for a joint membership. So that's a really great deal. It's usually $850 and $950. So we really encourage board members to use this. I'll send out these slides afterwards so you'll have it. But you do have that ability. So if you're ever out talking to other alumni and encouraging them to join, you can direct them with this code. And we really use membership as an engagement tool too. It is a great revenue source for us, but it is a way we've found, and I'll go into this in the next slide, that our members are just more engaged than our non-members. So some of the member benefits, we have a lifetime member wall. If you're getting engraved this year, you'll get to see that at homecoming. We have this event every year where we have the unveiling. We're unveiling 1,200 names this fall. We have different discounts on campus, like discounts at the bookstore. We have some discounts set up with athletic tickets through university or for UMD athletics. And then we have different events, like free access to some of our events, discounted, access to our events, or some type of member perk at all of our events. And looking at our overview, Jeff touched on, we have 415,000 alumni. Actually, it's 414. Sorry about that. 414,000 alumni, and nearly 23,000 of them are members. The bulk of that is our lifetime members, which is great, but we still do need those annual memberships that are coming in year after year. We really do count on those for cash flow. They are our biggest champions, as I had mentioned. So members are 2.3 times more likely to become donors to the university than non-members, and lifetime members are 4 times more likely. And so that is really it just shows the value that the Alumni Association drives towards the university's alumni participation and rankings. It is an incredibly important engagement tool to build our fundraising program at the university. This is our pricing structure. I won't go through it all, but just so you know, we give a bigger discount to our new grads. They can get a membership for $25 a year, or they can get a life membership for $300, and that's within a year after graduating. So I really encourage any of you that maybe if you're a current student and you're going to be graduating, think about getting that membership right out of school. If you are a TERP parent, this is a great gift. We sell a lot of the grad packs around commencement time, so this is a great gift if you have a TERP in your family. And then how you can help. So if you direct anyone to purchase a membership, you're going to want to send them to alumni.umd.edu/BOG. And this tracks our progress, and we can track how many referrals are coming in through our board members. So basically you send them to the /BOG, you give them the promo code, they're getting a discount, you're getting credit for it, everyone's happy. All right, so that's our membership program in a nutshell. I'm going to go into a couple of our revenue programs that we have in business development, and this is on page 20 of your handbook if you're following along. So we have some affinity partners. These are very unique partnerships and financial agreements in which there's co-branding involved with the university. Okay, so they, there's something about the university is reflected on these products. So that would be our alumni insurance program, our diploma frames, our class rings, and our TERPS card, which is the official credit card of the University of Maryland alumni and fans. And so these agreements really do help support us financially, but again, all engagement tools as well. Wearing a class ring, having your diploma frame, hanging in your office. These are all points of pride that we really try to leverage. We have corporate advertisers, and we have a lot more. Jim joined our staff about 1.5 years ago and has really grown our portfolio of corporate partners. So these are a few. They're not all of them. It's not an exhaustive list, but they purchase from us. So digital advertising, program sponsorship, face-to-face activation at events. I will say, if any of you work for a company that you think could really leverage the marketing benefits of marketing to alumni, please do reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Jim. We can make a lot of impressions, a lot. And so a lot of these companies continue to renew with us because they're seeing, a financial benefit from having these partnerships with us. And then we have a few other revenue sources. Jim oversees all of these with the exception of the TERPS license plates. We have our travel program. If you want to go on an amazing trip, I really recommend you go take a look at our website. We have some fabulous trips. We host somewhere between 12 and 15 trips a year. And these are all, in your specific cohort would be all TERPs traveling with you. You can bring guests. You don't have to bring a TERP. So if you have a friend that wants to come along, that's totally fine. We go, one of our colleagues went with 23 graduates. They went on the Essential Europe trip. She went for 3 weeks this year and hosted them in Europe back in June. We have our Legacy Paver, brick and paver program. So that's all the bricks that are up on Legacy Plaza in the building behind me. And our Terrapin Pride wine. This is a new venture that we launched last year. We have had, 5 releases of the wine. We're about to release our 6th. And it's been fantastic. People really like the wine is wonderful. It's sourced from California by an alum. He's a double terp, Dave Treblecock, and he has a business out in California, like I mentioned, and out of the Napa region. So it's really fantastic. I encourage you to go to our website to check out our Terrapin Pride wine. And we have relaunched our Ride with Pride, our TERP license plate program. Super easy way to show your pride. You literally go on our website. It's a $15 donation. All the paperwork spits out. You submit it electronically to the MVA, and you get your TERP tags. So with that, and I forgot to put a page number in there for you. I apologize on that one. That is page 16. If you want to follow along, I'm going to turn it over to Peter Canine, our Chief Operating Officer and CFO.
Yeah, missing the page number just threw off my entire presentation.
Sorry, Pete.
That's okay. We can go to the next slide. So hey everyone, I'm Peter Canine. I'm the CFO of the Alumni Association. I've been here about 5 years. We too have a small but dangerous team. So I've got 2 folks in accounting and business operations, and then 4 folks over in the rigs rental business. Next slide, please. I'm going to go through my presentation fairly quickly because even though it's very riveting, I don't want to bore everybody with the details, okay? And there's 5 of you who are going to be serving on the finance committee. You will learn this ad nauseum moving forward, okay? So be prepared for that. So there's 2 slides here that show our FY24 operating budget. The first one is the revenues, just a very high level view. These are all our sources of revenue. There are 2 sources of revenue right in the middle there. One says engagement and outreach programming, UMCPF, and then engagement and outreach programming, University of Maryland. Those 2 add up to about $1.14 million, okay? That's direct funding from the university. That's about 30% of our revenues. That means that we've got to raise 70% on our own. So these other main sources of revenue, membership dues, business development revenue, rental income, those are really key and critical to being able to do the outreach and engagement work that we want and need to do in the Alumni Association. I can tell you, since I've been here, those three categories, membership, business development, and excuse me, rental income, have all grown and really helped to support those three teams are crack teams, and they've done a really tremendous job. So that's $3.6 million in revenue. You want to go to the next slide? Versus 3.376 in expenditure. So from an operating perspective, we've got a $251,000 surplus budget. Unfortunately, it gets eaten up with below the line things like depreciation and interest expense and that kind of thing, but it still is balanced to zero. And FY24 is the first year where we've had a balanced budget. So woot woot for that. Again, I don't want to spend a lot of time going over here. We can, because we have a pretty robust accounting system, we can slice and dice the expenses in a lot of different ways, either by type of expense or by project or by department. We can look at it a lot of different ways. You can see here that out of that $3.3 million, we're spending about almost $1.2 million on engagement and outreach, which is good. The rest are scholarships and to support our other revenue streams and activities. Next slide. So this is just a slide to give you an idea of what goes on in the rental business, right? So we've got this tremendous alumni building, the Samuel Riggs IV Alumni Center. All right, we are in charge of and in control of the entire first floor space, which is conference room and meeting and event space. And in FY23, we set a record and brought in $1.2 million in revenues from that space down there. And obviously that plays a key role in being able to support and do the engagement and outreach work that we try to do here. We use that space to attract event business for both outside clients, like if you're a company, you want to hold a conference or a meeting or something like that, we do that. But we really try to attract and cater to our campus and our TERP clients, so they can consider this their alumni home that they can come back to. I think that's it, actually.
Thank you, Peter.
Yep.
The last section we're going to go through briefly is our FY24 association goals. So you've gotten to hear the whole overview of the association, an overview of the board, the roles and responsibilities, our committees, and our various units. And so now we'll just kind of drill down a little on what we'll be focused on this year. So I'll turn it over to Jeff to talk about our engagement and outreach goals.
Thanks, Jess. So our 5 top goals, we have a lot of goals, but these are our top 5 goals. One is to launch a senior class gift campaign. So this is really looking to create a culture of philanthropy among our current students, and starting with our seniors. And this is something that is very common at a lot of universities, and we're excited to be playing a leadership role in bringing the idea to Maryland. Next is Terrapins Connect and expanding. I mentioned that online community of networking for students and alumni, really looking to, expand that through some intentional, some intentional partnerships with campus colleagues. Our regional strategy, we're going to be, I mentioned, going to some new areas this year, some places we've never been, and also doubling down in our backyard markets to make sure that we're serving the 60% of alumni who live right here in the DMV. The fourth item is our looking to expand Do Good Month and generally speaking, our community service programming to activate alumni to solve the grand challenges of our time through service in their community. And then finally, looking to really grow and expand our corporate and industry programming. This is, I mentioned, a new area for us. We've had a lot of momentum, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for impact on the campus by strengthening these relationships with alumni at key companies.
Thank you, Jeff. I'll talk about our membership and business development unit. Pretty simple. You saw the budget, 860,000 is our goal in revenue that we're really focused on. We're focused on increasing our alumni participation by 3%. And when I say alumni participation, that is when alumni are making a financial gift. That is what participation is, how it's defined currently at the university. Our online store, I'm really excited to show you the store. It is already on our website. If you go to the top right-hand menu, it'll say store and you click there, or shop, I'm sorry, it'll say shop. And that's where we're going to be launching some specific merchandise that is only available through the Alumni Association. It's all Maryland alumni, specific, and it's really cool. We have we have t-shirts on there. We have our life member jackets on there as well. So lots of cool things that we'll be incorporating for this year. We're going to focus on new corporate sponsors. So obviously Jim's role is to continue to renew contracts, but always looking for new corporate business. And then really focusing on our travel program. We exceeded the goal we achieved 160% of our goal last year with the travel program. So we're really trying to leverage it. We found that since, so many people lost years during COVID of when they couldn't travel, a lot of people want to travel again. So we're using that to our advantage. And I'll turn it over to Peter to talk about business operations and the rigs rental business.
Thanks, Jess. So these are our 5 key high-level goals. First is to achieve a clean audit opinion. And we've been able to do that every year since I've been here. And I think historically we're good at achieving clean audit opinions. We want to be able to achieve the financial goals that we track during the course of the year. And there's several of those that, there's membership goals, there's rigs rental goals, business development goals. If the folks on the finance committee will become intimately familiar with those goals and the progress. The reference to finance committee here is myself and Wilson Wang, who's the new chair, will be reaching out to all the new committee members right after this upcoming board meeting to schedule an orientation and onboarding and kind of Q&A session so that we can get everybody familiar with what the finance committee does and the things that you should be keeping your eyes on. We want to achieve the rigs rental business goal, which is just over $1 million this year. And lastly, we want to do some improvements and beautification projects and upgrades to the first floor space. That'll include some AV upgrades and some structural upgrades to some of the key spaces down there that'll help make it look even better and more attractive to customers. That's it.
Thanks, Peter. So the last thing that I wanted to show is just a very, very brief demo of Board Effect. I've been talking with, we've been sending out some communications. And so this, this is not new to you because you're new, so you didn't know this, but we used to have a printed board book. We're trying to do away with that and be more green and be more conscious of the environment because they were these thick, spiral bound books. And so we are trying to leverage the technology that we have. So Board Effect, this is when you log in. And so you should have, most of you probably received your information from Terry, your login and your password. It's a temporary password. The first time you log in, it'll prompt you to create a password unique to you. And then I would just recommend you bookmark it. And you can even click the keep me signed in, remember my sign in. And then you're always able to get in because if you're like me, you have a million passwords and it's so annoying to try to remember them all. So I always say, you can log into it really easy. It's really user-friendly. So what you're seeing on my screen is actually admin permissions. So you'll see a little more than you would see on yours. When you go to the home page, you're just going to go to workrooms and you're going to, wait, what did it do? Okay. So I'm trying to get to the UMD workroom. Doesn't seem. Okay, workrooms. There we go. UMD Alumni Association. You're going to go to the Alumni Board of Governors. Under that, you'll see all the different committees. We're going to start using Board Effect for all of our committee meetings. So before your committee meeting, the agenda will be loaded there. Any minutes or notes from a previous meeting, any documents you need for the meeting will be on this portal. So you'll go to Alumni Board of Governors, and then you can see our upcoming events. And Terry has already loaded all 3 of our events for all of our board meetings. And so this is where you'll find the information before the meeting to log in so you can take a look at all the materials. I'm also encouraging people, if you have the ability to bring a laptop or an iPad to the board meeting, we will have some extension cords available and things like that if you need power. But I think it'll be a really easier way for you to navigate all this and be able to see materials rather than having to like print a bunch of stuff with you and bring it with you. But you just go into the meeting, and right now you won't see anything. There's nothing listed in here because no documents have been loaded yet. Terry's going to work to have these documents updated 2 weeks in advance of the meeting. The caveat to that is our finance documents will likely never be up that soon because the finance committee meeting typically happens about 2 weeks before the meeting. So they'll come on probably at least a week before each board meeting. And so, yeah, you'll be using this a lot. It's really user friendly, as I mentioned. And if you go to the library on the left, everyone was asked, some people were mentioning the handbook that they hadn't received their copy in the mail for some reason. We are going to get you a copy, but in order to see the handbook, you go to libraries, Alumni Board of Governors. It's this BOG handbook. And then when you click on the PDF, at least in my computer, you'll see up here in this right-hand corner where it's processing, that's where the download will pop up. So you'll just click that. And you'll be able, this is a large document. That was why I put it on Board Effect. I didn't try to email it out because I was afraid it just wouldn't go through. But when it comes up, that's what it looks like. So it takes a little bit of time. Okay, so I wanted to talk do we have time for questions, Lori? Is that okay? Okay. Are there any questions about Board Effect or anything else that you saw today that your burning question that you want to ask? Questions? Okay. All right. So then the last thing I just want to share with you are our save the dates. I send a lot. I know I try to keep it to 1 email every other week, but when we get in the busy time, sometimes it's once a week. But these are the things that are coming up, and I want to make sure everyone knows what you need to register for, or what we'd like you to register for. We would love everyone to come to our fall meeting, which is at 2 p.m. on Friday, October 13th. It goes until 6 o'clock. So the meeting runs 2 to 5, and then there's a cocktail reception from 5 to 6, which will give you all some time to mingle with each other, get to network with each other, and you'll also get to meet a lot of our volunteers through all of our regional and affinity networks. Right immediately following that is the dinner for the Volunteer Leader Awards dinner. It's 6 to 8 right here at the Riggs Alumni Center. It is an optional activity, but we do encourage you, if you'd like to come, you're more than welcome to. Guests are welcome at this event. So if you have a spouse, significant other, or somebody that you'd like to bring, that is totally fine. The next event to register for is on October 14th. The next day is homecoming. It's our game versus Illinois. We still don't have a time, so I can't give you times on any of the events. I can just tell you typically everything starts about 3 hours before kickoff. So you can plan on events starting around 9 if we have a noon kickoff, and around 12:30 if we have a 3:30 kickoff. Also on that same day, so you'll register for the meeting. That's separate. That registration is out there. You'll go to the Volunteer Leaders Award registration to register for the dinner. Then for Saturday, it's one registration page for the homecoming tailgate and the life wall unveiling. And I want you all to know that you're going to be invited to the President's Reception, which will be at Jones Hill House on October 14th. Again, I think that one's going to be about 2 hours prior to game time. Does that sound accurate, Amy? About 2 hours before, probably. And so you'll get an invitation from the president's office for that. I would love for you to save the date on November 10th. We are having our celebration of Terps, where we honor our Terps that have won the Maryland Awards. And so those are the awards that Lori mentioned on the awards committee. So that's 6 to 9, and everyone will be invited to that. And lastly, but certainly not least, you will be invited to our holiday party. And that is going to be on December 16th from 7 to 10 p.m. And that's at the National Museum of Natural History. Do I have that right, Jeff? National Museum of Natural History. Yes, in DC. That is the end of the presentation. I'll turn it back to Lori, but if you have questions, this is my email, jrobbert3. Terry Welton is twelton@umd.edu. We're happy to help you at any time, help you navigate board effect, help you get documents. If you have questions about the university, you can shoot us an email and we'll help you out as best we can.
Jessica, this is Alethea. For the homecoming and the holiday event, will we get an invitation sent so it can be populated on the calendar?
Absolutely. So I will ask, Terry can definitely send a calendar invite for those events, but you do also have to register for it. So I'll make sure in my next recap that I kind of outline, here are the different registration links for all of the different events.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, Lori, I'll turn it to you.
All right, great. So I'll just wrap up here. I appreciate everybody's attention during the last hour and a half. I know this was a big dump of information on everybody. I want to reiterate my appreciation for you all agreeing to donate your valuable time to the Alumni Association. You've heard it said before, but it's absolutely the truth. We can't do the work of engaging alumni without all of you. So I appreciate that. I look forward to you being at the October board meeting. I know there are a few, given the timing of everything, maybe that won't be able to attend, but I know most of you will be there. And I have a saying that I use a lot at work, that I never like to get a group of really smart people together and just talk at them for hours. So and Jess, I see Jess and Amy smiling because I told that to them when we were thinking about the agenda for the board meeting in October. So we will have opportunity to engage with all of you and get your all's feedback on things that the association is doing. Because we have a very diverse and a very, just such an impressive group of board members, new board members and returning board members that are serving on the board. And so we're using the board meetings as opportunities to get feedback from all of you. And I think that diversity and that ability to give voice to things is one of the most meaningful things that I've found in my time of service. So thank you all for your attention this afternoon or this morning if you're not on the East Coast. And I look forward to working with all of you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. I'll send the presentation out after.
Great. Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Go Terps.